What's going on, everyone? This is going to be a recap video. West Houston hosted Sorcerous Cup. It's a quick look at my team. Pretty standard. Went through a few iterations to get here, and I've been really comfortable with this team. We go into round one. I do land my Wigglytuff against this Munchlax, which Munchlax for the first couple tournaments I did was really kind of hard for me to counter because I wasn't running a fighter. Then I realized I can just kind of use Wigglytuff in place of that and, just do just as much damage. Go ahead and hit this Play Rough. They don't shield it on the Muck, which is, good for them because they still have the shield. Go ahead and send in my Toxicroak to counter down, and they have a Hypno in the back, which is just going to destroy it. And then I have my own Hypno in the back, which normally isn't bad, but since I'm a shield down and he has a lot of energy already stored, it's pretty much a GG at this point. I can just go ahead and shield this this Thunder Punch. Only thing I could have done was hopefully just go for Shadow Ball, and they decide not to shield for some reason. But it ends up being pretty close. The IVs on my Hypno aren't too bad. So gonna hop into game pick my team for game 2. The lead was fine, and having the Toxicroak for his Muck was good. It's just kind of weak to the Hypno. So I kind of mix it up there just to kind of account for the Hypno. Maybe even if he decides to bring a Zoomeril or the Noctowl. So I get this, which normally is a pretty decent matchup. I think he either has just a really high attack weighted Noctowl, or, which I think is the case, because he's just beasting through my Wigglytuff. Obviously he's going to shield this Ice Beam, and then he's almost able to wing attack me down. He decides to go for this Sky Attack. I bring in my own Noctowl to mirror, or really just to wing attack it down. And this isn't a terrible matchup. The Sims always show Muck winning this, but since I have a lot of energy and I think we're at even shields, this isn't too bad. I am going to switch into mirror real fast. Save my shield. He goes for the Dark Pulse. At this point, I'm thinking he must have Hypno in the back. Yep, because he didn't switch out right away. I'm able to build up to 2 Dark Pulses here because I know he has a shield. Go ahead and go for the second Dark Pulse. And I'm going to go ahead and let this go because I know I have a Sky Attack ready. Or almost ready at least. So that this will be more than enough to faint down the Hypno. So very close game. Made the right call picking the Muck that game. It's just his Noctowl just really laid it on to my Wigglytuff there. Wasn't expecting that. Normally you can shield once and charm down. But I think since the last time Noctowl was really prevalent in a cup, a lot of people have tried to get a lot better ones. And I think his had to be heavily weighted for attack. So I'll mix up my lineup just a smidge, expecting the Zoomeril, but I get the Muck, which is bad. I go ahead and switch into that, and he switches into Toxicroak, and then he goes for Mud Bomb, and I'm able to just charm it down. And he sends the Muck back out, and then he does shield the Play Rough this time, so I've done a lot of damage to this Muck now. I'm not going to shield the Dark Pulse, and oh, that was the thing about his Muck too. It's running Poison Jab, so he's a lot slower on gaining energy. But he is doing quite a bit more damage with these Poison Jabs. Go for this, and he actually switched really well there to absorb that. And go ahead and get off this Thunder Punch. He's out of shield, so it's just kind of a race to charge moves here. I can take a Hydro Pump right there without any issue. And I'm able to Confusion down. And then I just go for the Shadow Ball because it'll do more damage. But he was already dead anyways, basically. So that's a good first round. I'll take it 2-1. Go into round 2. It's BB Matthew. Here, kind of like in the first round, this is normally a pretty solid matchup. Just in theory, shield once, charm down. Well, I kind of forget the shield once part. Go ahead and go for Ice Beam. First, expecting the shield, and he's able to confusion me down. So that was kind of my fault, but he is running Fire Punch, which is pretty interesting. And then he hits me with the Thunder Punch. So he's actually running double punches, which is pretty cool. I haven't seen it too much. And go ahead and switch into Noctowl after that. And then I'm going to shield up this Dark Pulse, build up a bit of extra energy, go for the Sky Attack. I get the shield, so he's out of shields now. Go for the Sky Attack again. I miss a couple of bubbles, which is really disappointing, because it would have been probably either fainted or would have been one wing attack. But he does have Claydol in the back, which is very good for me. And go ahead and go for that. I went for Nightshade. I think it's actually better to go for, or it's more energy efficient to go for the Sky Attacks. But I'm able to get the Shadow Ball off on the Claydol and then Confusion down. So it was a very close game without any shields there. That was real dangerous with that Muck in the back. So they could have went a slightly different way. So kind of thinking to myself, well, I didn't lose the lead. I just misplayed it. And against his team, really, Wigglytuff does pretty well. Really, it does pretty well against most teams, which is why I tend to lead it a lot. And go back. There we go, Wigglytuff, Noctowl, and oh wait, do I change it? I don't remember. Alright. Knocked in. Get the Hypno again. So this time I'm gonna shield whatever punch he throws at me. Just so he can't farm me down. I did it again. I don't know why I went for Ice Beam. I mean, it's gonna get shielded anyways. Get out of here, Hoss. No one cares about your rating. Take that Fire Punch. And then he uses his energy here, so I'm just gonna let it go down. And bring in the Noctowl again. This is playing out very similar to the other game. I'm going to go ahead and go for a Sky Attack to do some chip damage. I'm not going to shield it. It is an Ice Beam. I kind of forgot he was, or I didn't know he was running Ice Beam. I don't think. And he hits me with Play Rough, so he's running double beams here. He's not running Hydro Pump. Go ahead. I get the last shield. So I still have one shield, so I'm in a decent position here. And go ahead and let him take that down. I'm going to build up energy, so I do have to shield this other Dark Pulse. But I'm just going to farm him down. He makes a pretty good switch here. I am at 2 Sky Attacks. But I am not able to wing attack down here. So that was a good round. Made some really good adjustments. I'm going to a decisive third round here. Keeps leading the Hypno, so I'm going to go ahead and lead Frostlass. Which I think was probably the last thing he thought I was going to do, considering I hadn't used it at all. And he leads Claydol, which is really good for me. He's using Mud Slap on the Claydol. And I'm just going to spam avalanches like there's no tomorrow. And I'm almost to another avalanche by the time he gets to one Psychic. And then he sends in the Azu, and I'm going to counter with Hypno, which I know he's not running Hydro Pump now, so I can, be a little more free with my shielding. And I'm going to get to this next Thunder Punch. And there goes his second shield. So I go ahead and shield up this Ice Beam. And I'm able to get to the last Thunder Punch to take it out. And I think he sends back in the Claydol. Yeah. And man, I was like one away. I probably could have. I have Shadow Ball ready. I could have cut the Shadow Ball off on this other Hypno. So I'm able to just Powder Snow down. And then I go straight for Avalanche, which is a GG. So Frostlass there showing why it's so deadly in this cup. It's either super effective or it just is going to nuke you with Avalanche. Unless you're Azu, which Azu don't care. Going into round 3 against Quasigoyo, I faced this trainer one other time, and it's very tough. So I'm going to go ahead and take out, or go for this Play Rough, and then get the extra charm to take out the Azu. Brings in the Bronzong, which is a really hard counter. Luckily, I have this going on, but then he sends in the Frostlass, which is pretty bad news. Go straight for Shadow Ball, so I'm going to do the same. Get the shield. It's going to outpace me for sure. I actually get the shield right there too, and I'm counting, and I'm going to absorb the Avalanche with Toxie, then they quick swap in. With one confusion, it's done. Bulldoze doesn't hurt too bad, but I'm able to get to the Shadow Ball. I do one extra confusion there. And then, oh man, just get that last confusion off. It was super close game. Barely squeaked it out. That sack swap was huge to keep the hope of that game alive. So game 1 was really close. Gonna go with this, expecting a little bit different. I was kind of thinking she'd lead the B drill, and build up and go back to back sky attacks. I get hit with the hydro pump, which, you know, a Noctowl's tanky, but it still hurts. I throw back to back. I get, oh, and they switched mid charge move there. So it still does quite a bit of damage to Frostlass, and then I'm able to counter down. I save a shield. I have a bit of energy. Go ahead and throw the Play Rough. I get one shield, and then they switch in the Bronzong. So I go ahead and bring back out, bring out Hypno to counter this Bronzong. I'm gonna build up. I'm gonna go for the bait here. And I successfully get their last shield. I do one more, I don't think they could have switched. You never know. Some people are really good at that, like the Frostlass swap we just saw. And then one confusion down, and that was it for game 2. So that was it for the series, or for the thing, but that we will play game 3. So that was a good, kind of shows why Noctowl is really good in this. Most people have been running Play Rough Hydro Pump, and if they decide to go for that Hydro Pump, they end up letting you get a lot of energy. So we end up mirroring each other, and it actually wins the CMP tie, and they go straight for Shadow Ball. And I do get the shield going for the Avalanche. And they do a really good job of switching in right there. I go straight for Sludge Bomb here, or Sludge Wave, and then it goes unshielded. I do go ahead and shield this up. So I'm able to charge up to get 2 Dark Pulses. So I know they had to shield one, and then there goes that one, and then the Bronzong. I don't know why I switched. I could have hit the Dark Pulse. I just think I didn't want to get hit by a Bulldoze, even though they didn't have nearly enough time to reach it. I could have just ended it. Go and then Frostlash just to absorb it, and then Powder Snow down. I don't know what I was doing there, but that was game 3. All 3 games going into round 4. Still a 3-0 against CaptRedbeard. this matchup we saw earlier, and it's going a little more according to plan than this one. I go for the Ice Beam, and then they swap into Hypno right as I was about to charm it down, which actually lets me charge up a bunch of energy here. I do shield just to keep a little bit of health on. I go for that Dark Pulse. I got another Dark Pulse ready. I'm actually, I think, one Snarl away. So I shield, and then I swap in the Wigglytuff as a makeshift shield. And then they have Munchlax in the back, which is really good for me, so I'm going to double resist these licks. The body slams are going to come fast and furious, but I can get off these sky attacks, and they're going to do lots of damage. I think, yeah, I get hit with another body slam here. I just basically hit this flying type negates, what is he, yeah, Bulldoze 2. It takes away the bigger move. So this is game one. Them switching kind of put them back just because, or at a disadvantage, because then I allowed my Muck just to kind of come in and farm up a bunch of energy. But I think this was the first person maybe that uses their Beedrill, I want to say, in one of these matches. I know the last opponent had it on their team, but we didn't see it. So I do get the Noctowl here with my Hypno, which is a pretty good matchup, just because Thunder Punch, charges quickly. And does pretty good damage against it. They do outpace me to Sky Attack, which is a little unfortunate. And I think either they just let it go here. Nope, they shield. I'm going to be able to... Game Boy Luke, shout out. Let's go ahead and let it down, and I bring in Frostlass. So I have a little bit of energy already going, and then they bring up, we see the Beedrill, and I'm just going to spam avalanches, basically. But again, Swelps in his Hypno, and I'm just going to build up a bunch of energy, get up to that second Dark Pulse here, and I'm just going to let him go. Farm it down with Snarls, and then hit the Dark Pulse again. Good thing is it's running Poison Jab, so it's not doing a whole lot of damage to Muck here. I'm able to get to one more Dark Pulse for the win, even though I had Frostlass in the back with energy and a shield, so that would have been really hard if they had been able to, to farm me down. So that's 2 games this round in the books, but gotta play the third one before going on to the last round. So here, not that great of a start. Those licks really do a number. He counters me with his Hypno. There's one Thunder Punch, and then I have enough. I'm going to throw back-to-backs. There's one shield. He lets the second one go. I'm not going to shield this. I know I'll live it. I think I thought about going for Nightshade, and I just decided to go for the Sky Attack. Then I'm able to farm down, and I get off one more Sky Attack. So he does have Noctowl here, which is good for me, because then I can swap into Muck here, which even from this range, it's the Bulldoze. It doesn't knock me out completely. Go ahead and go for Sludge Wave, which does a lot of damage to that Muck. I'm not going to shield. I'm going to save my shield for the back here. I know these body slams do nothing, and I just Powder Snow him down. The one wing attack goes through, shield, and then immediately avalanche. Boom. Oh man, Frostlass, such a beast. Alright, so that was round 4. Good games. Gonna go right into round 5 here against King Philip. Have never played against this trainer. I've never seen their name. They're pretty high ranked. So I get a pretty good lead here with the Wigglytuff v Frostlass. Is able to, churn out a couple of avalanches. Forces me to shield once. Go ahead and throw this Play Rough. Obviously, gonna go in here with the Muck, try to counter this down. He swaps into his own Muck. Which I think I have Hypno in the back. Which is not gonna be in a good situation. I think this happened to me earlier in a game. So I need to kill his Muck with my own. So I throw him in here to absorb the Dark Pulse. I should have been able to throw that Thunder Punch, and I overtapped. So because of that, yeah, I didn't get that Muck down. Yep. So overtap or killer. So going in this match, thinking I don't want to be weak to that Bronzong again. Plus the Muck, and I'll obviously always Azu is a threat. And that's really his, besides Beedrill, that's like his best counter to my Wiggly. Besides Bronzong, which this is not a good situation. Go ahead and send in Frostlass, which he doesn't switch out right away. And he sends in his own Frostlass. I'm going to go for the Shadow Ball, so I get both of his shields. Yeah, I go ahead and shield here, and then hit him with the Shadow Ball. Then he sends his Muck back in. I have a good energy lead already going into this. So it's going to take out a lot of his health there. So he's got a really low Muck in the back in this Bronzong, which I'm going to take huge chunks out of with Charm and this Play Rough. I'm able to hit one more Charm to get him down. And then his Muck is super low, like I said before. He gets me with the Sludge Wave, but I'm going to be able to just get to... I went for Sludge Wave here, but I really didn't need to. And then I didn't even hit all the bubbles. So I made the right adjustments there, anticipating the different Pokemon that he'd have in the back. I knew that Bronzong was coming out again. So I've led Wigglytuff twice, so I expect him to lead that Bronzong again. And he leads Azu. So it's not a good start. I go for the Shadow Ball. Most people aren't going to shield stuff. And then I'm going to do a couple Powder Snows here and swap into Wigglytuff. And he hits me with a Hydro Pump. And then I'm able to Charm down. And then he sends in the Frostlass. So I'm thinking he didn't bring the Bronzong this game. And then we knock each other out. And there's the Muck. So he's got 2 shields and a Muck and a Dream. And this is game 3 of the final round. So I burn my last shield. I'm going to get off this Avalanche. And then I think he gets a little greedy, because he definitely should have hit a Dark Pulse by then. And he lets me get off that last Avalanche, which just decimates his health. And then I lose CMP here. But I'm able to get to the Dark Pulse for the KO. And the win. So that was game 3 of the final round, like I just said. So I pull off the 5-round sweep and win this tournament. This was my weighted tournament. Finally waited a good one to win, or won a good one. I don't know. I picked a good one to win that I waited. However, I'm trying to say that. But yeah, this was a fun tournament. I'm really comfortable with this team. I'm gonna put up another video where I do really well with it later. Thanks, y'all.